President Obama was briefed on this proposal before leaving on his trip to Asia and is expected to announce his executive action on immigration as soon as next week. In this draft proposal from a government agency, up to 4.5 million illegal immigrants living with their American-born children would be allowed to stay in the U.S., an expansion of deferred action. It would also expand deferred action for children known as DACA, who came to this country with their parents, following up on President Obama's action in June 2012.
Word is now out the Obama administration is prepared to announce their 10-point plan to ensure their immigration plan goes into effect. Call it the hell or high water plan, because it makes no difference what the Congress or anybody else really wants. This is what America will be forced to live with, and that sets the table for one hard-nosed battle inside the Beltway and beyond. It is a real pleasure to welcome to the MidPoint Studios co-author of Ladies and Gentlemen, Why the Survival of Our Republic Depends on the Revival of Honor, credited as being one of the founders of the Tea Party movement, and also a proud member of the Politichicks, who will be regular contributors to this program. In studio, Dr. Gina Loudon joins us today.
What
Gina,
an honor to be in your studio.
It's a pleasure. I'm
Thank
just
you
going to go and
for
shake your
having
hand and
me.
say,
Absolutely.
good to finally have you here
Happy
right
to
now.
be here.
Unfortunately, we have to then get down to the hard stuff here, and that is the executive action. The president has said, and we're hearing it over and over again, here come 10 points. I don't care what you say. This is going through. And I heard some interviews this morning saying from people who are proponents, good for the president. We have to get this through. Why then is it so critical? Why is it critical that this new Republican-controlled Congress says absolutely not and does whatever they can to get in his way?
You know, it's so funny. This administration is so tone deaf. It's almost unbelievable. The arrogance here, Ed, is mind-boggling. The voters just spoke, and I think they spoke pretty clearly about what was important to them and about what they think of this administration's policies, Ed, and yet he persists with another executive order. The people have said, hey, whatever happened to the whole transparency thing? Remember that? And now we know, Ed, that it's because they do think the electorate is stupid. Well, I think they're about to learn another lesson when they hand the 2016 elections to the Republicans if they make this move. I think it's a big mistake.
What does it say to you, though, and the Politichicks and the people you speak to, when you hear that the country has said this is the way we want it, yet the president continues to go ahead with it and is that tone deaf? What does that say to you about his general opinion, not only of the people, but about himself and his presidency?
You know, my background is in psychology, and so I've studied this extensively. And you can't diagnose someone when you when you've never met with them personally. We just frown on that in the industry generally. But there are signs and symptoms of people who really have no regard for personal responsibility and duty to their office. And some of the things Obama's doing are very upsetting. When you mentioned the Politichicks, Anne-Marie Morell and Morgan Brittany and I, we've been on tour with our new book, What Women Really Want, talking to women all over the country asking, what is it that you really want? And what people really do want is just a president that will listen to them, that will communicate with them, and to care that we have elected the leaders we've elected. So for him to do this by executive order, and the fact that it's amnesty is another part of that problem. There are two key factors for women that were the reason for the shift that we saw in the midterm elections. Women made a massive shift, a complete turn, if you will, from their support of Obama in his election until this midterm where they completely turned on him. And that's because there are two main issues for women. One is national security and the other is economic security. Amnesty undermines both.
You're saying something interesting because most people will tell us, a lot of the left will tell us that national security is not at the forefront of a woman's thinking. They would say immediately it has to be the economy first. What are they missing? Why are they getting it so wrong?
It's about safety. You know, it's interesting. I wrote an article for W&D last week that talked about how women do view relationship. For women, this is a lot about a relationship. It's a relationship with their politicians. It's about trust. It's about transparency and honesty. And when women feel like the administration they've trusted to keep their country safe is letting them down, and then doing so with these massive sweeping policies that are executive orders, women take that very personally. It's kind of like a controlling man in a relationship. Women don't like that.
Is it fair to say that even women are more insulted when they hear that stupid comment by the architect of Obamacare, that the voters are stupid? That would seem, and I've talked to several women on both sides of the fence, and they said, that struck me right in the heart because they're basically indicating that we're not stupid. But maybe some voters are, because didn't they fall for Obama twice?
That's exactly what happened, Ed, and that's why this midterm election said so much that Obama's apparently not computing, because women spoke out. You know, I titled that article I was telling you about something about a woman scorned by being used for her vote. Women feel like they were used for their vote. A lot of women did support Obama originally. They liked the idea of someone young. They liked the idea of a minority president. They liked a lot of things about what he said. But when they got into the relationship that I'm talking about, they realized that it wasn't for real. And so now, here they are with an administration basically admitting to lying to manipulate them because he thinks they're stupid. This is not going to play well for them in the 2016 elections, I can assure you. They're playing right into the hands of the Republicans.
I wanted to get your comment on this. Kirsten Gillibrand, junior senator from New York, said she hopes that Hillary Clinton becomes president. But she said that it is not only important, it's almost imperative that a woman become president in 2016.
And again, they're not listening. This is more identity politics. Most women don't like identity politics. They don't want to be looked at as a woman. They want to be looked at as an equal. You know, and I really think we're coming to a place in our history, Ed, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels to me like we're coming to a place in our history where people don't like identity politics. You don't want to be known as a man. I don't want to be known as a woman. Somebody doesn't want to be, you know, catered to because they're black or Hispanic. We want to be the United States of America.
You don't want to be pigeonholed.
Don't want to be pigeonholed. People are tired of that, and they're starting to see that the consultants and the politicians are using these identities to manipulate their votes, and they're very much onto that. And the psychology behind it isn't pretty, because once you wake up to that fact as a demographic, you're going to turn on those who you feel have tried to manipulate you. So it's like I said, it's not looking good going forward for the Democrats.
About 30 seconds left. Do you think, though, that there are women who voted and said they would always vote Democratic, who now, though, will switch to the Republican Party simply because of they feel so vexed by the left?
We've seen it. And the ones who can't bring themselves, we already saw it in the last election. That's exactly what happened in the midterms. But the other thing that happened was the women who got out to vote just for Obama because they believed he offered something different, they just stayed home. But the Republican women, the conservative women, the center-right of this country wants to protect their children and their families. They got out there and voted.
And tell the Republicans, don't blow it this time. Don't make stupid mistakes.
Please don't blow it this time. That's the real Hail Mary in all this.
We could do a half an hour on that one. I'm making sure that you don't shoot yourself in the foot like they have so many times here in the past.
They have. And they better take this ball and run with it, because they've been given a big golden nugget here. They better take it.
Dr. Gina, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Pleasure to have you, and we're going to be talking to you in the Politichicks an awful lot.
Excited about it, Ed.
Thanks so much. Enjoy what little sunshine we have here for you today. Short intermission. We're back with the author who dug into the connection between the National Security Agency and the Iraqi military. And later on, telling it like it is, fed up with those seeking to change